Alright, what's going on, everybody? We are live for the Cotton Bowl, Miami and Ohio State. The game kicked off a few minutes ago. Miami got the ball first, and they're on a fourth down on, I believe, their first drive. But sorry I'm on wait. Maybe next year, or tomorrow, will be different. That is definitely one of... Oh, wait a minute, he fumbled right here? Oh, wow, I just see that. I think Mark Fletcher fumbles. And Ohio State might force a turnover. But we'll see. But sorry I am on wait. I'm definitely going to try to improve on that in the new year. But welcome to the stream, everybody. We got Miami and Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Should be a pretty good game. Game scoreless so far. Let me put out a poll. I took Ohio State to get the win. I'm pretty sure 20-10. But I'll check my score prediction for the game in a second. Let's see. I think I took Ohio State 20-10. I know I took Ohio State. Yeah, 20-10. I think it's a low-scoring game. Both teams good defensively, and I just went with the offense and the quarterback I trust more, which is Ohio State. Let's also put the ball marker. Forgot about that. But welcome to the stream, everybody. Be sure to vote on the poll for who you guys think will win. I think it should be a pretty good game. I think it'll be close and low-scoring, but should be pretty good. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Ohio State getting the football here. Hold on, I had to refresh the page. Alright, here we go. Happy New Year, thank you. Happy New Year to you guys as well. But they did rule a fumble on that previous play. A fumble by Fletcher, recovered by Ohio State, and they got the ball on their own 19-yard line for their first possession. We got 8:51 to go in the first quarter. Game still scoreless. But the Ohio State offense on the field here at their own 19-yard line for their first possession. Ohio State's offense, we've scored about 35 points a game. I think they're at 34.9. Miami's defense also good, allowing about 13 points per game. It's fourth best in the country. But they get the ball in the 19, Sayin in shotgun, Bo Jackson lined up to his right. And the motion to tight end, Max Clare across the formation. Sayin in shotgun, back to his right. And Sayin, play action here, throws underneath that pass caught by Jeremiah Smith. And he's going to be very close to an Ohio State first down. And it looks like they'll give it to him and move the sticks on their first play from scrimmage. Jeremiah Smith, in the 4 playoff games last year, 19 catches, 381 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was insane. And he's definitely a big part if they end up winning the national championship once again. Which they are my pick to do so. So from the 29 here, Sayin in shotgun. Jackson now shifts to behind him. And they're handed off here, Bo Jackson to the left side. And Jackson goes nowhere. Ruben Bain takes him down for a loss of 2 on the play. And it brings up 2nd and 12. This Miami defensive line sure is good. They played really well in the first round against Texas A&M. They've been dominant all year. And I think Ohio State's going to need a big game from Julian Sayin, because I don't really see them running the ball too effectively. But it's 2nd and 12. Now from their own 27 after the 2-yard loss on first down. Sayin in the pistol, and he hands off Jackson. He's got a lot of space here. Bo Jackson lowers the shoulder after a gain of about 9 yards, and it sets him up with a third and much more manageable. A great play right there. And right when I said they weren't going to be able to run the football, they go run for 8 yards. But it's 3rd and short here for Ohio State. Or technically not short, technically more 3rd and medium. They'll only classify short 1 to 3. But it's 3rd and 4, Sayin in shotgun back to his left. From their own 35-yard line, motion C.J. Donaldson out of the backfield, and Sayin's going to look to throw. Sayin takes a shot down the field, it's incomplete, looking for Carnell Tate. But it's over his head, very tight coverage, and it brings up 4th down. It'll be a punt for Ohio State. On this drive, Miami will get it back with 6:43 to go in the first quarter. So Ohio State's punted away here. Malachi Tony, always dangerous, back deep to receive. So the punt is away after a pretty quick possession from Ohio State. And Tony calls fair catch at the 17-yard line. And that is where Miami will take over for their next possession. But the game still score was 6:36 to go in the first quarter. And Miami gets it back. Give me 1 second while I pull up the stats for the game. So far, Miami with 45 yards, Ohio State with 9. A very defensive game so far, probably as expected. So far, results in the poll, 54% of you guys said Ohio State will win, 46% have said Miami. Be sure to vote if you guys have not already done so. I took Ohio State 20-10. The recipe for Miami in this game could be pretty simple. I mean, they could just be the first team to score more than 16 points against Ohio State. And with how good their defense is, I can definitely see them winning. Because Miami, I think they can hold Ohio State to a low point total. But the problem for Miami, I think, is going to be offense, which has kind of been the case so far. I mean, they've moved the ball a little bit, just not super effectively. Although it has been better than Ohio State. But the most points Ohio State's allowed this year is 16 against Illinois. Like, the other games, they've allowed 7 against Texas, although that was back in week 1. And they've only allowed double-digit points in 5 games. Penn State scored 14, Purdue, UCLA, Indiana scored 10, and then Illinois scored 16. Exactly how much pressure is on a college freshman running back named Bo Jackson? You would think quite a bit with that name. But I mean, he's been pretty good so far. He's had a great freshman season. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Miami gets the ball on their own 17-yard line after the punt. Oh, I just turned my flashlight on. Did not mean to do that. The punt was a 48-yard punt, with almost no return on the fair catch. Alright, so Miami's offense back on the field here. Carson Beck in shotgun. Mark Fletcher lined up to his left. 6:36 to go in the first quarter. Beck going to look to throw. Plenty of time. Like, plenty of time. Now he's going to step up and try to scramble. And Beck going to get a pretty good run. He'll gain 8 before he dives ahead to the 25-yard line. Ohio State's defense this year ranks first in opponent yards per game, points per game, and opponent pass yards per game. 8.2 points per game, 214 yards per game, 129 passing yards per game. But it's a 2nd and 2 here after a good scramble on first down from Carson Beck. In the pistol here with Mark Fletcher wound up behind him. And they'll hand it to Fletcher straight ahead. And Fletcher's going to break it through initial contact and gain about 5, maybe 6 yards and move the sticks for Miami. Mark Fletcher, a huge game in the first round against Texas A&M. I think he ended up with over 170 yards. And it was also obviously huge on that last drive. Oh wow, Fletcher almost fumbled right there again. Able to hold on to this time. The ball came loose for a second. Or not necessarily came loose, but the ball moved a little bit. Miami's already run for 30 yards in this game. They'll go back to the ground here. Fletcher, this time going to bounce off a defender. Fletcher getting to the outside, cutting back inside. And he'll gain 13 up to the 44-yard line. And a nice run from Mark Fletcher. Miami running the ball really effectively. I mean, Sonny Styles right there has got to be able to make that tackle, because Fletcher gains about 10 yards after contact. Mark Fletcher's run it 6 times for 27 yards. Back-to-back nice runs. Beck throws the outside here from Malachi Tony, gets a block, and Tony lost the ball, gets it back. And we'll bring up 2nd and 5 from the 49. Malachi Tony had that fumble in the first round against Texas A&M. Miami obviously lucky that didn't hurt them. And Tony obviously able to redeem himself with the game-winning touchdown. So far, we've got just 5 likes in this stream, so if you guys can like that stream, that would be much appreciated. So we got a 2nd and 5 here. Beck hands off Fletcher again. Again, he breaks a tackle and picks up about 2, maybe 3 yards. Brings up 3rd down here for Miami. Miami 1 of 3 on 3rd down. Ohio State 0 for 2. So 3rd and 2. Beck in shotgun, Fletcher to his right. From the Ohio State 48-yard line, Beck will look to throw. And he'll throw quickly. That's caught for a first down. CJ Daniels makes the catch to the 45, and they move to 6. But a nice 3rd down conversion right there for Miami. Beck in shotgun, back to his left. And Beck sets up the screen on the outside for Tony. And Malachi Tony picks up about 4, getting down to the 35. We got a little over 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Game still scoreless. So it's 2nd and 6 from the 35. Beck in shotgun. Bring a receiver in motion. And Beck gonna look to throw. Gets rid of it to the outside, and that pass can be caught for another 7 yards and another Miami first down. Number 1, Trader with the catch right there. So it's another first down for Miami. Minute 17 to go in the first quarter. Miami's had the ball for over 10 minutes already. Ohio State at just 3:33. They go back to the ground here. Up middle and another good run. About 7, maybe 8 yards there for Miami. Pringle with the carry. And brings up second and short. Under a minute to go here in the opening quarter. Miami's run the ball really effectively on this drive. A 9-play, 62-yard drive, taking 6:05 off the clock so far. Beck in shotgun, and again he hands off Pringle up the middle. And this time not as much space, but he'll pick up 3 and move the sticks on what could be the final play of the first quarter. Yes, so that will be the final play of the first quarter. And a great first quarter for Miami. I mean, even though the game's still 0-0, I feel like they played really well. They're moving the ball effectively. Their defense playing really well. That's a really good first quarter for Miami. They're outgaining Ohio State right now 105-9. And they've had the ball for 11 minutes and 20 seconds. But I really don't think Miami could have asked for a better start. Maybe avoid the turnover. That would be really the only thing. But they got off to a great start in this game. Even though it's scoreless, I think this first quarter went pretty much according to plan. If you're Miami. But Miami, 110 total yards, 55 passing, and 55 rushing. Mark Fletcher, 29 yards on 7 carries. And Miami's also 2 for 4 on third down. What the most yards rushing Ohio State's allowed in a game this year? I believe it's against either Indiana or Texas. I think both ran for 140-ish. Let's see. Indiana ran for... Indiana ran for 118. Texas ran for, I think, quite a bit. Yeah, Texas ran for 166. But outside of that game, this is an Ohio State defense that really does not allow many rushing yards. On the year, they're allowing... Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Ohio State, they are allowing 84.5 rushing yards per game, which is 5th in the country. And they're allowing 2.8 yards per carry, which is 6th in the country. They've also only got 4 rushing touchdowns in the season, which is the fewest. And they've also forced 7 fumbles, which is not nearly as many as other teams, but that's also more of just a total defense stat, not strictly against the run. Yeah, this is a really good defense, especially against the run. And you've also got their pass defense, which is the best in the country. They're allowing, I think, 125 pass yards per game or something like that. It's pretty impressive. But they're back from commercial here as we start the second quarter. Game's still scoreless. But Miami moving the ball effectively here. And could potentially get the game's first points on this drive. Miami's defense held their opponents scoreless in the first quarter in 6 of their last 7 games. Easy to see why for this game, when Ohio State only had the ball for 3 minutes. So it's a first down here for Miami, inside the red zone at the 18-yard line. Beck in the pistol, Fletcher is behind him. And Beck gonna hand off Fletcher to the right side, and Fletcher finds a lane, breaks a tackle, and gains 5. A good first down run. They're actually going to give him 4 there on first down, make it 2nd and 6. So 2nd down for Miami from the Ohio State 13. Beck in shotgun, back to his right. Beck throws the outside. It's caught by Daniels. And Daniels out of bounds after getting about 5, a little short of a first down. It makes it 3rd and very manageable here for Miami. So far, results in the poll, 54% of you guys said Miami will win, 46% have said Ohio State. Again, be sure to vote if you've not already done so. So a 3rd down here for Miami. They're going to spot it as a 3rd and 2 with 14 minutes to go in the first half. Miami, they've run 22 plays compared to Ohio State's 7. And they're outgaining them 115-9. So Beck in shotgun on 3rd and short. He's going to throw the outside for Fletcher, and he's got a touchdown. Mark Fletcher with the game's first points. Carson Beck with a touchdown pass about 10 yards, and Miami's on the board first. What a drive. They go right down the field, a 9-yard touchdown. That was a nice play. They faked the quarterback run right at the middle. So everyone collapses towards the interior of the line of scrimmage. And then Fletcher's all alone on the outside. And it's a 13-play, 83-yard drive for Miami that takes 8:05 off the clock. Really good drive. They go right down the field. And here is the extra point to put them up 7-0. And the extra point is good, although not quite right down the middle. Obviously, their kicker was not good in the first round game against Texas A&M. I think he went 1 for 4 in field goals. Did make his only extra point. But makes the extra point right there. It's not the best kick, but when it's through the uprights, that is what matters. And Miami's now up by 7. But a great drive right there. 13 plays, 83 yards. They take 8:05 off the clock. And Miami now outgaining Ohio State 128-9. And they've had the ball for 12 minutes and 49 seconds compared to Ohio State at 3:40. Sorry. For Carson Beck, it's his 27th touchdown pass of the season. Threw for 103 and a touchdown last week. He's already thrown for 67 and touchdown. Or technically not last week, but in the first round. You guys know what I mean, though. But this week, he's already thrown for 67 and a touchdown. His season high was 340 against South Florida. He threw for 340, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and also actually ran for a touchdown. But it's a 7-0 Miami lead, and we'll see how Ohio State responds. The offense has not really done much. Really need to get going, and also hope their defense can get a stop. Because, I mean, the defense, like, they're not playing terribly, but they just need to be able to slow down the run game a little bit. Like, if I'm the Ohio State defense, that would be my strategy. I'd rather force Carson Beck to beat me through the air as opposed to let them run the football. Because 1, Ohio State, they've got the number 1 pass defense in the country. And 2, Carson Beck obviously can be turnover prone at times. Like, in the 2 losses for Miami this year, he threw 6 interceptions. 4 of them in the loss to Louisville. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Ohio State getting the football back, down by 7. Ohio State, they have not trailed much this season. They did trail a little bit, or actually quite a bit, against Indiana, but outside of that, they have not really trailed. Like, I forget the exact stat, but they had trailed for like, I think it was like under 10 minutes in the entire season before that game against Indiana. But Ohio State gets the football back here, and the kick goes through the end zone for a touchback, and it'll be brought up to the 25. So Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense back onto the field. They have just 9 yards and 2 drives. Ruben Bain's been a problem early for the Miami defense. Or I guess you could say he's been a problem for the Ohio State offense, but been a good thing for the Miami defense. Ohio State 9 yards in the first quarter is their fewest in any quarter since 2017. But Ohio State's offense on the field at the 25-yard line. Sayin in shotgun back to his left. That's Bo Jackson. And Sayin fakes it to Jackson. Plenty of time to throw. He's going to take a shot deep down the field. He wants Jeremiah Smith. He's got it. Jeremiah Smith down the 15-yard line. A huge play for the Ohio State offense. That, like, multiplies their yards by, like, 10. Not quite, but on one play. And a huge gain for Ohio State. They really needed that. Gets the offense going, you would think. But about a 60-yard pickup there on the first play of the drive. And just like that, Ohio State inside the red zone. With the ball on the Miami 16. It's a 59-yard catch for Jeremiah Smith. Sayin, off play action again. This time he gets pressured and he's dropped for another sack. Ruben Bain again. His second sack, third tackle for loss in the game. And it brings up 2nd and long for Ohio State. But Sayin gets sacked for the second time. And backs him up to a 2nd about 14. Actually, make it 2nd and 16 instead. Sayin sets up the screen. It's intercepted. The screen gets picked off. That might be a pick 6. It is all the way pick 6 Miami. Wow. It's a pick 6 on the screen, and Miami doubles their lead. That's not something you see too often. The screen gets picked off. It is a long touchdown return for Miami. And they're about to be up 14-0 with 11:49 to go in the first half. Wow, what a play. The screen gets picked off and taken the distance. Wow. And the extra point is good. 14-0 Miami with 11:49 to go in the first half. Let's see what even happens here. So it looks like Jeremiah Smith's supposed to block that guy, unless that's the guy Max Clare is supposed to take. Because Jeremiah Smith starts to take off up the field. But I'm not sure exactly what happened. There's probably some kind of miscommunication between who's supposed to take him. Because if Jeremiah Smith's supposed to take that guy right there, then he's probably not starting to move up the field. But a great defensive play by Miami. And right when it looked like the Ohio State offense could get something going. They got the huge pass play on first down, get inside the red zone, then a sack and a pick 6 on the next 2 plays. What a crazy 3-play sequence right there. But it's now 14-0, a little over 11 minutes to go in the first half. Really, a little under 12 minutes, 11:49. But for Sayin, it's the 7th interception of the year, and he's actually now thrown an interception in 3 games in a row. He threw in on the first drive against Michigan, Indiana, now here on the, what is that, their 3rd drive? Yeah, 3rd drive. Man, this has not been a good start for Ohio State. Down 14-0, which is probably their biggest deficit of the season. Well, I mean, if they barely trailed, it has to be. And against Indiana, didn't even score 14, so it has to be their largest deficit of the season. But man, it is hard to start this game worse for Ohio State. But let's see how the offense responds. Down 14, points should definitely be something they should focus on. So Ohio State gets the ball back. Let's see what they do on this possession. The kick is away, and again, it's blasted through the end zone. Actually, this time it's fielded in the back of the end zone. And it's still a touchback. But they come out at the 25. And they go back to the interception here. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. So I don't know if Max Clare overruns it right there. I think he's supposed to be the guy to take on that blocker. Or the defender. But I'm not sure exactly what happens. But 1st and 10 here, Sayin to throw, under pressure, gets rid of it to Jeremiah Smith for a gain of 12 and a first down. Yeah, it's been a crazy start for Miami. Up 14-0, they just had that crazy pick 6. With the game summary so far, we've seen Mark Fletcher lose a fumble and catch a touchdown. Ohio State down by 14, which is their largest deficit of the season. And Keontae Scott with the pick 6 for Miami. Yeah, still plenty of time, obviously, but not a great start for Ohio State. Sayin in shotgun. Hand it off here. This is C.J. Donaldson. And a great run there for C.J. Donaldson, gaining 11 yards. And another first down for Ohio State. We got 10:50 to go in the first half. Ohio State, 2 solid plays to start the drive. First downs on both. Ball now exactly on midfield. Sayin in shotgun, Donaldson to his left. And Sayin going to take a shot down the field here. That is incomplete. One-handed attempt made by Jeremiah Smith, but he couldn't haul it in. Brings up 2nd and 10. Pretty good coverage on the outside right there. And that's not an easy thing to do, cover Jeremiah Smith. But 2nd and 10 here, after the incompletion. Julian Sayin, not his best start. I believe he's 4 for 8, 4 for 9 maybe. Sayin to throw here, pressured again. Sayin still on his feet, swung around, and eventually dropped for a huge loss back at the 36-yard line. And it brings up 3rd and a mile here for Ohio State. Sayin able to break through a couple sacks, but then Miami just a new rush defenders every time. But it's the 3rd sack of the day for the Miami defense, and it's now 3rd and a mile here for Ohio State. So from their own 37, Sayan looks to throw, and he'll set up the screen for CJ Donaldson. On 3rd and 23, he's got a lot of work to do. He slips one tackle and gets to the 49. So it'll be 4th and 11, but it's going to be another punt. For the Ohio State offense. So far, 3 punts and a pick 6. So they'll be forced to punt it away. On 4th and 11. Malachi Tony back deep to receive. And the punt is away. Tony will call fair catch the 11-yard one. So a pretty good punt. And Miami backed up fairly deep inside their own territory. And we'll see what they can do in their next drive. Although they also had pretty similar starting field position on their touchdown drive. I think they started their own 17-yard one on that drive. Let's see. Yeah, their own 17-yard one. And then they went 83 yards in 19 or 13 plays. But Miami, after their first drive, they moved the football. They went 8 plays, 42 yards on that next drive, although lost a fumble. And then the drive after that was obviously the touchdown drive, 13 plays, 83 yards. And Miami's got 128 yards compared to Ohio State at 86. And 59 of those yards came in one play. But 14-0, we got 8:53 to go. And Miami starts at their own 11-yard line. It was a 40-yard punt. It was fair caught by Tony. We've already seen more points in this game than we saw in the entire Miami-Texas A&M game combined. I still have no idea how that game was so low scoring. But so far, results in the poll, 56% of you guys said Miami will win, 44% have said Ohio State. Be sure to vote if you guys have not already done so. I gotta give it a like, or give it a like better than the other play-by-play. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, be sure to like the stream, guys. That'd be much appreciated. But Miami gets the ball back here at their own 11. And let's see what their offense does on this next possession. Up by 14. With about 8 minutes to go in the first half. Winner of this game faces the winner of the Sugar Bowl. That is Ole Miss and Georgia. That game is obviously tomorrow night. I'll be streaming every playoff game till tonight and all day tomorrow. So I'll obviously be watching that game as well. So 1st and 10 for Miami. Carson back in the offense, back on the field. There's 8:53 to go in the first half. Play clock winding down here. It's at 3. They'll get the play off. And it's a handoff to Mark Fletcher up the middle, who's dragged down at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go. And it brings up 2nd and 10. That's definitely progress to the Ohio State defense. They got run over on that last drive. Miami on the ball pretty quickly here. Going with some tempo. Beck going to look to throw. And he throws to the outside. And the pass is caught for a gain of about 10 and Miami first down. There's Daniels with the catch. Been pretty active so far. Leading receiver for Miami. That is the 9th Miami first down. Ohio State with just 4. Back under center here. And again, I'll hand off to Mark Fletcher up the middle. And Fletcher falls forward for getting about 3. Getting it to the 25-yard line. Oh, wow. This is crazy. I just saw this. After the pick 6, so 14-0. It's the largest deficit for Ohio State since 2022. So over the last few seasons, that is really impressive. Here's a throw to the outside from Marion. Gain of about 4. Brings up 3rd down for Miami. Right now, Miami outgaining Ohio State 146 to 86. So it's 3rd down and 3. Miami 3 of 5 on 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 3 from their own 29. Beck in shotgun. Fletcher to his left. Beck going to look to throw. Beck going to step up and try to run. And he is going to be very close to a 1st down. It's going to depend on the spot here. I think he got it. And it looks like they will move the sticks. Yeah, they will give it to him. So it's a 1st down for Miami on the scramble. What's happening here? Are they taking a look at it? It looks like they're going to review this. Let's see. He's got to get to the 32-yard line. And he hits the ground. Oh, man, that's close. Alright, this is a good look right here. Oh, man. I think he got that, but that's going to be tough to overturn. I mean, I think he gets this. I'm not sure if there's enough to overturn it. So they might just stick with the ruling on the field, which was a 1st down. I mean, this is really close. Oh, wow, they're going to mark him short. They're going to overturn the call. Wow, that is... I'm not really sure how you overturn that. But is 4th and half a yard here from Miami. Mario Cristobal does not like the call. And they're going to punt because of it. That commercial will tell us how long you've been doing this. I'm impressed. Okay. Will do. So it will be a punt here for Miami on 4th and short. So the kick is away, and it is a big kick. And it bounces inside the 20-yard line and takes a Miami roll all the way down to about the 9-yard line. Wow, what a punt. And Ohio State going to be backed up deep inside their own territory for their next possession. They show that replay again. I'm not really sure how they overturn that. Unless they rule he started to slide, although I'm not sure replay can determine that. But yeah, I got no idea how they brought that back. Alright, but how long have I been doing this? So I've been making videos for 5 years, so almost 6 years. About 5.5 years. I started in June of 2020. And I started streaming like this 2021, I think? I don't even remember. Maybe 2022. Now I gotta look back. And I've been streaming every Sunday night and Monday night football game for the NFL. And most big college games as well. Alright, my first stream like this was 2022. So that's when I started. Really started streaming. Basketball has to be a challenge. Yeah, I mean, I don't really do a ton of basketball. Like, I'll do stuff for March Madness, and I streamed a little bit of that this past year. But it definitely takes getting used to going from football to basketball. Especially because I don't know as much about basketball as I do football. But it definitely took a little getting used to. Time on the clock. We got... I don't think that's right. Let's see. 5:50 in the first half. Alright, but Ohio State, they get the ball back here at the 9-yard line. Backed up deep inside their own territory, still down by 14. And we'll see if they can finally get the offense going. So it's first and 10 from the 9-yard line for Ohio State. Same in the pistol. Jackson is behind him. And they'll hand it off here to Bo Jackson to the left side. He's got nowhere to go, and he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Another great play by this Miami defensive front. And it brings up 2nd and 10 for Ohio State. Brings up 2nd and 10 with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Ohio State going quickly here. Saying off play action. Has time. And he's going to throw high, but... Oh, man. Caught for a second. Ended up incomplete, but that was a dangerous pass to throw that high because there was a defender right behind that could have easily gotten picked off. But the pass ends up incomplete, and just got a 3rd down. So it's 3rd and 9 for Ohio State. They have not converted the 3rd down yet today. They're 0 for 3. Saying in shotgun back to his left. From the 10. Miami brings 4. Saying gets pressure from his end zone, throws it out of bounds. Donaldson, the receiver in the area. And it's going to be another quick 3 and out for Ohio State. And Miami's defense forces another punt. Man, I mean, this Miami defense played really well to start the playoff. I mean, last week, allowing 3 against A&M is really impressive. And then the way they've played so far in this game, again, is extremely impressive. So it's 4th and 9. And Ohio State going to punt it away. Their punter from his own end zone gets it away cleanly. And Tony will field it at the 40. And he gets past one defender and tries to spin around and turn back inside. But he's stopped at the 42. So a pretty good job on the punt coverage there for Ohio State. But Miami's still great field position at their own 42-yard line. Looking to potentially extend the lead already up 14-0. We got 5:02 to go in the first half. And Miami's offense now back onto the field. The defense for Ohio State really hasn't been the problem. They've allowed just 7 defensive points. Plus, that was the pick 6. But it's been the offense that's been the problem, not being able to get anything going. Beck looks to throw here, steps up, and he throws over the middle. That pass is going to be caught, or I thought they got knocked down. The receiver came up with the ball, and they're in a roll to catch. It's a completion to Marion, and Miami with a nice pickup there on first down, about 15 yards. Yeah, it does look like a catch. So they've already got the ball inside Ohio State territory at the 44. They'll go to the ground here with Fletcher, and he's chopped down after getting about 3, maybe 4 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 6. We got 4:05 to go in the first half. Miami's run for 71 yards. Ohio State at -7. So Beck in shotgun, Fletcher to his left from the Ohio State 40. In motion, Fletcher out of the backfield. Beck takes the snap and throws the outside from Marion. And on the screen, he'll pick up about 3 yards and make it a 3rd and 3. Probably 4 down territory for Miami if they don't move the sticks here on 3rd down. So 3rd and 3 here for Miami. 3:15 to go in the first half. Empty backfield for Carson Beck. Now they motion Fletcher standing to his left. And we got a timeout called by Miami right here before this 3rd down. It's the first timeout's been by either side in this game. And it comes with 3:06 to go in the first half before a 3rd down and 3 for Miami. I mean, I would not be shocked to see them run the football right here because you probably have 2 plays. At least that's the way I would approach this if I was Miami. Because you got a 3rd and 3 from about the 40-ish yard line. I mean, you could punt from there. But I would approach it as if I would have 2 plays. Now, obviously, if you take a huge loss and get sacked, that changes a lot, but 3rd and 3 from the 37, I definitely think this 4 down territory. So Beck in the pistol, Fletcher is behind him. They motion a tight end across the formation and hand it off to Fletcher up the middle, and Fletcher is stopped after a yard. So it is 4th down. It does look like it is 4 down territory for Miami. So they will go for 4th and 2, 2:45 to go in the first half. And even if you don't get it right here for Miami, you still going to feel pretty good about yourself, even though you're giving Ohio State good field position with how good your defense is played. So 4th down and 2, Beck in shotgun, 3 receivers bunched to his right side. Beck looks to throw, has time. Beck throws outside, caught. Malachi Toney 1st down to the 30-yard line. They gain 7, move the 6 on 4th down. And that's going to bring us to 2-minute warning here in the first half. Great blocking up front for Carson Beck. I believe Ohio State brought a blitz. Right, at the very least, an extra rusher. But we reached the 2-minute warning in the first half as a 14-0 Miami lead. And the offense, again, moving the football and having a pretty good possession. But Miami now with a first down in the Ohio State 30-yard line. Carson Beck thrown for 104 and a touchdown, which is almost as much as he threw for in the entire game last week, or in the first round. Actually, it is more than he threw for. He threw for 103 and a touchdown in round 1. Now 104 and a touchdown in the first half. The best thing for Ohio State is halftime to regroup. Yeah, they need something. But halftime definitely doesn't sound that bad if you're Ohio State. But Ohio State, they just need something to go their way. I mean, I thought it was going to be that big pass play to Jeremiah Smith, but then they threw the pick 2 plays later. But they just need something positive to build on, because right now everything's going Miami's way. Right now, Miami outgaining Ohio State. 176 to 87. And Ohio State's picked up just 4 first downs. Well, Miami has 4 first downs on 3rd and 4th down combined. They've got 11 first downs at the game. Miami 3 of 7 on 3rd down, 1 for 2 on 4th down. Or sorry, that's red zone. Sorry, not 4th down. Well, I mean, same idea because they just converted the 4th down. But I was looking at the wrong thing. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. 2-minute warning in the first half. 3 timeouts for Ohio State. 2 timeouts for Miami. Got a 1st and 10 from the 30. Now, Ohio State does get the ball to start the second half. So that is definitely a good thing. It's not like Miami can go score now and then get the ball after halftime as well. So Ohio State at least gets the possession there. Miami, they've run 18 plays inside Ohio State territory. Ohio State, they've run 2 plays inside Miami territory. In fact, Miami's run 18 plays inside Ohio State territory. I don't know if Ohio State's run 18 plays in the game. Their drive's been very short. Beck gonna throw here. Beck dancing around, pocket collapsing. Carson Beck goes down for a sack. Back at the 35-yard line, Ohio State calls timeout. It's their first, and they stop the clock with 1:51 to go in the first half. So if Ohio State, if they play this well defensively, they can get the ball now, before the half, and after the half, and realistically tie up the game. I mean, Carson Beck's got a receiver right here. He's got, I think that's Malachi Toney wide open over the middle of the field. When he's got time, just does not throw the ball. But the coverage elsewhere is pretty good. But a sack there for the Ohio State defense. It is the first of the game for them. Miami's already got 3 sacks for their defense. So it's 2nd and 14 after the sack. 1:54 to go in the first half. They put 3 seconds back on the clock. Carson Beck is 13 of 16. I believe they just said he completed 12 straight passes. They bring Toney in motion here and flip it to him on the touch pass. And he's taken down for a huge loss. Sonny Styles with a nice play. And it's 3rd and long for Miami. Another timeout called by Ohio State. And the defense with 2 nice plays. This is a really nice play by Sonny Styles. He takes Toney down for a loss of 5 on the play. And it sets Miami up with a 3rd and a mile. Going to be third and about 19 or 20 yards. And if Ohio State calls timeout, you'd imagine they're going to call, or sorry, if they get a stop, you'd imagine they're going to call another timeout. And they can get the ball back here with about, I don't know, minute 45 left on the clock. Minute 40 maybe. Sonny Styles, 74 tackles this season, which is the most without a missed tackle in the FBS this season. That's pretty impressive. But it's third and long here for Miami. They're 3 of 7 on third down, although I'd be pretty impressed if they get this one. They're at the Ohio State 40. You could just be playing just to get into field goal range in this one, because it's third and 20. Ohio State brings 3, they drop 8. Beck takes a shot deep down the field towards the end zone. It's overthrown and incomplete. Looking for Marion deep down the field. It's 4th and 20 for Miami. And probably a punt upcoming right here. I mean, that's really your only decision. So the incompletion stops the clock with a minute 44 to go. So Ohio State actually able to hold on to the timeout, which could be very valuable. So they'll get the ball back with probably by the time the time comes off the clock for the punt, about a minute 35. They get some pressure on the punt, although it is away. And, oh, did he save it? Let's see, it's caught inside the 5, and it looks like they're able to down it at the 2-yard line. Wow, what a job there by Miami. It was caught on the fly. It gets caught on the fly at the 3-yard line, and he's able to get rid of it before it crosses the goal line. Wow, that is a really good special teams play. So, I mean, everything that could go wrong for Ohio State is going wrong for Ohio State. I mean, that is a really good play for the Miami punt team. The last time Ohio State was shut out in the first half was the 2016 Fiesta Bowl. In a game they lost 31-0 against Clemson. Could be shut out here. They started their own 2-yard line on this next possession with a minute 36 to go in the first half. They start off on the ground with Bo Jackson, just try to get some breathing room, and Jackson picks up 4, getting to the 6-yard line. And now Miami, they call a timeout, trying to potentially get the ball back here. So now each team with 1 timeout remaining. It's 2nd and 6 for Ohio State with a minute 30 to go in the first half. Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback for that Fiesta Bowl, if I recall. Was he? I thought he was after 2016. Maybe that was his freshman year? No, I think that might have been Deshaun Watson, 2016. Or, you know what, 2016 might have been Deshaun Watson's rookie year in the NFL. I can't remember now. But 2nd and 6 here, Sayan steps up, rolls right, throws the flat for Donaldson, who makes the catch, turns inside, and is able to get back outside and stop the clock with a minute 21 to go. But it is third. Let's see, is it third and short? No, they do move the sticks. Let's see, now I'm curious. I'm going to look that up real quick. Let me... So 1st and 10 here for Ohio State. They're on 12-yard line. Sayan throws quickly. That's Carnell Tate on the slant, and Tate picks up 14 in the first down. Alright, let's see. That was the semifinal game. Yeah, that was Deshaun Watson. for Clemson. Saying to throw here on first down. Nice catch along the sideline by Donaldson. And he's out of bounds after a gain of 8 yards. And he moves the sticks. Sorry, he doesn't move the sticks, but he gets out of bounds. And stops the clock with 1:07 to go. But it's 2nd and 2 here for Ohio State. 1:07 to go in the first half. Each team still with one timeout. From their own 35, Sayin in shotgun back to his right. Sayin going to look to throw, and throw it over the middle for Brandon Innes, and he's taken down at the 45-yard line. Nice pickup right there. Stops the clock temporarily with 1:02 to go until they spot the ball. Now the clock starts running again. Sayin can look to throw. Sayin throws outside. Innes again. Oh, he lost the ball. I think this should be incomplete, though. I don't think he had that. So they do rule incomplete, which stops the clock with 56 seconds left. Yeah, that's probably incomplete. So it stops the clock with 56 seconds left. It's 2nd and 10 here for Ohio State. Sayin in shotgun back to his right. 3 receivers to his right side as well. Play clock at 4. They'll get the play off. Sayin going to look to throw. Over the middle there is Donaldson on the check down. And Donaldson is going to get taken down inbounds at the Miami 47-yard line. 45 seconds left. Clock is running. 3rd and 3 for Ohio State. Sayin in shotgun. Donaldson to his right. Clock still running down to 32 seconds. Sayin steps up. Sayin gets pressured. Got rid of it. It's low but caught for a first down. Innes again to the 39-yard line. 25 seconds left. Clock is temporarily stopped. Another first down for Ohio State. Still not in field goal range. And prior to this play, we got whistles and play blown dead. Prior to this play, Miami calls timeout. So it's their final timeout. We're going to put a few seconds back on the clock. Actually, 1 second. Make it 22 seconds. That's a really good play from Julian Sayin. Under pressure, while he's practically getting tackled, makes a nice throw that almost hits the ref. But it's a nice play and a big 3rd down conversion. Brandon Innes with a couple nice catches on this drive. So Sayin and Ohio State, from the 39-yard line, they got 1st and 10 with 22 seconds left in the first half. The field goal target line for their kicker is career long from the 31. So that's not a very long field goal. Although, Jaden Fielding is also not the greatest kicker. He missed like a 20-yard field goal against Indiana. Sayin to throw here on first down. Throws underneath that pass caught by Carnell Tate, who's taken down inbounds, and Ohio State going to call their 3rd and final timeout right here. Carnell Tate got 8. He tried to get that bounds, but couldn't get there. So they call their 3rd and final timeout. Right at the clock says 15, but I'd imagine they'll put a few seconds back on the clock. Alright, they put 1 second back on. So it's 2nd and 2. Both teams are now out of timeouts. Would be a 48-yard field goal from here, which would tie the career long for Jaden Fielding, at least according to their field goal target line. Which It's where it says career long field goal. Let's see. Let me pull up his numbers. Fielding, his long on the year is 49, which is also his career long. Although he's never made a field goal longer than 50, but he's 15 of 19 from 40 to 49. But 16 seconds left. Probably try to get a few yards closer if you're Ohio State and take a shot at the end zone. Saying to throw, gets pressure, don't want to take a sack, has time, and he just throws it away over the head of Carnell Tate and out of bounds. Did a good job to avoid Ruben Bain off the edge right there, because taking a sack right there is worst case scenario, because not only do you lose yardage and knock yourself out of field goal range, but you might not even have time to get another playoff. But it is now 3rd and 2. Wonder if Ohio State tries to get closer or they take a shot at the end zone right here. Because it is 3rd down. So Sayin going to look to throw. Sayin throws out of bounds. Innis the closest receiver to it. Looks like they were trying to get a few yards closer, instead of taking the shot downfield. Or maybe they could have been trying to do, get a few yards closer, get the first down, then take a shot downfield. Although I'm not sure you had time for that. But Jaden Fielding on for the field goal try. There's 6 seconds left in the first half. The kick is pretty much centered in the field. Slightly off to the left, this is a 49-yard field goal to tie his career long. And the kick from Fielding is no good. Missed it wide to the left, and it stays 14-0. There is still 1 second left on the clock. So let's see what Miami opts to do. They could try to throw a Hail Mary, depending on how far Carson Beck can throw the ball. Although, I think they'll probably just take a knee. So Fielding's kick ends up wide left. It stays 14-0. We got 1 second left in the first half, and Miami will just take a knee. Oh, I didn't realize they'd be throwing a Hail Mary from their own 30-yard line. Yeah, I don't really think Carson Beck can quite reach the end zone from there. But 14-0 at halftime. What a first half for Miami. A terrible first half for Ohio State, especially offensively. But they do get the ball to start the second half. Wow, Ohio State is struggling. Love it. Yeah, they have been terrible. It's their first time trailing at halftime this season. And since 2018, so under Ryan Day, they're 9-5 when trailing at the half. But 14-0 at the half, a dominant first half for the Miami defense. The offense also had their moments. But overall, I feel like the Ohio State defense ended up playing pretty well outside of that one drive. But obviously a 14-point game at the half. But I'm going to go take a quick break at halftime. Use the bathroom, fill my water. I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I'm back. But we got a 14-0 Miami lead at the half. Definitely did not see this kind of game coming. It has been a really good performance so far for Miami. Now, as far as an updated score prediction goes, I originally said Ohio State 20-10. And, I mean, it's still very possible Ohio State wins this game. Like, I don't really think 14 points is an impossible lead to overcome. But it's the largest deficit for Ohio State in 2022. Yeah, I saw that before. That's pretty impressive. I don't know if that's more impressive for Miami or for Ohio State, because you could say that's impressive for Ohio State because it shows they haven't trailed by this much in 3 years. Or you could say it's impressive for Miami because they've been so dominant, because the team's been so dominant for the last several seasons. Ohio State gets the ball back, so they have to score. That is true. Ohio State, they need points. That is obviously step one in coming back. Because last I checked, you're not able to win a game if there's a 0 on the scoreboard. Not your age, but you need to tag your PayPal/Venmo to donations, or for donations to your cause. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm 19, by the way. Yeah, I haven't quite reached, what's it called? The eligibility to have super chats, but I'm getting there. That is definitely one of the next major accomplishments on YouTube, getting monetized. Which hopefully that happens soon. That's my goal is for that to happen in 2026. Although that's also been my goal for the last 4 years. Although I do think I'm probably the closest I've ever been. I'll get there. I hope so. I actually don't have a PayPal right now, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. Sometime in the future, I'm sure it will happen. Good goal, you sub. Thank you. I appreciate that. It'd be your first donation to a YouTuber. Wow, I'd appreciate that. That'd mean a lot. Wow. I mean, even the thought. It's just that's so nice. Thanks. But yeah, as far as an updated score prediction goes, originally I said Ohio State 20-10. But I'll switch the prediction to Miami. I mean, still definitely possible for Ohio State, but I do think they'll make it a little closer, but it's just hard for me to see them coming all the way back with how bad their offense has been so far. So I will take Ohio State as I'll take Miami as an updated prediction, and we'll go Miami by a score of, let's see. You're going to say Ohio State 24-10. I could definitely see that as a pregame prediction. I'm thinking that might be my score right now, 24-10. They'd give Ohio State a few points, give Miami another 10. Maybe 24-14. We'll go updated score prediction 24-14. Miami. Is this what you want to do as a career? Yeah, it would be my dream to be a content creator, YouTuber, whatever you want to call it. That would be the dream. Hopefully one day. you're a Buckeye fan, you'll still say, "Oh, I want Ohio State to win." Yeah, I mean, they're not out of it. They're 9-5 and trailing at halftime under Ryan Day. They haven't trailed at halftime at all this year, but I mean they're not out of it. They get points to start or they get the ball to start the second half. If they get points and cut it to one score game, this game's entirely differently. I think it would do well as a radio broadcaster. Yeah, broadcasting something like that where I'd consider it as well. Like that'd be like a next like ideal job if like I can't do YouTube full time. Broadcasting, commentating, something like that would be a probably like the next best thing, I'd say. But going to go over some stats from the first half here. We'll start off with Miami. Carson Beck had a great first half. 14 of 18, 98 yards, and a touchdown. At one point, I think he completed 12 or 13 in a row. But he had a great first half. On the ground for Miami, it was also pretty good. Mark Fletcher, 12 carries for 44 yards. He also caught a touchdown, which we'll get to in a second. Gerard Pringle had 2 carries for 10 yards. Carson Beck, 4 carries for 10 yards. Malachi Tony, 1 carry for 4 yards. And then they have 1 carry as a team. That was just a kneel down at the end of the half. Then receiving for Miami, CJ Daniels, 4 catches for 36 yards. Mark Fletcher, 2 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown. Keelan Marion, 3 catches for 21 yards. Malachi Tony, 4 catches, 9 yards. And Trader, 1 catch for 7 yards. Not quite sure how to say his first name. Then for Ohio State, Julian Sain, not a great first half, a little bit better on that 2-minute drive before halftime. And he's up to 157 yards and an interception, completing 11 of 20 passes. Then rushing for Ohio State, it wasn't great. As a team, they ran it 9 times for minus 3 yards. Although, minus 29 from Julian Sain on the 3 sacks. But if you look at what they physically did running the football, it's still not great. 6 carries, 16 yards, but it's definitely better than what the actual numbers are, including the sacks. And then receiving for Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, 3 catches, 82 yards. C.J. Donaldson, 4 catches for 33 yards. Carnell Tate, 2 for 23. And Brandon Innes, 2 for 19. I thought Georgia would knock Ohio State out, not Carson Beck with Miami. See, I had Ohio State going all the way. I mean, I still thought they were the best team, or the most talented team in the country. Like, obviously, they did lose to Indiana. I didn't. An Ohio State-Indiana rematch, with Ohio State getting revenge. But I've definitely seen a lot of people pick Georgia to make the national title game and beat Ohio State, if not go all the way. Like, I definitely think Georgia's a good team. I think they're peaking at the right time, especially defensively, but I just don't trust the offense. I know not Carson Beck. Gunnar Stockton's been good at times, but he's also a little inconsistent. Because, I mean, he'll have good games. Like, he had 5 touchdowns, I think, against Texas. He had a great game against Tennessee, but for every game like that, he's also got a game like he had against Georgia Tech, where he threw for like 100 yards and completes under half his passes. I'm pulling up his numbers right now. Now, I know with how well the defense has been playing, they might not need him to do a ton, which would definitely work in their favor. But, I don't know. I'm still not the biggest Gunnar Stockton fan. Like, he hasn't been terrible, but I just don't think he's amazing. Like, the game against Georgia Tech, he threw for 70 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But I mean, he's also had great games. 5 touchdowns against Ole Miss. 3 touchdowns against Tennessee, over 300 yards passing. Another 5 touchdowns against Texas. Like, he's played pretty well against good competition. But I don't know. I'm still not completely sold on him as an elite quarterback. I agree if Ohio State and Indiana, if we get Ohio State and Indiana in the final, I think the Buckeyes win, pulling for Georgia to give us a different final matchup. Yeah, I mean, both those games would be pretty good. I think both be very well scoring with how good the defenses are. But I mean, even if Indiana, Ohio State, we get that rematch, like, it's still possible for Indiana to win it. Like, they beat them once, they can do it again. And I mean, I just find it hilarious. We doubt Indiana all year long. Like, are they really going to beat this team? Or are they really going to end up beating a team like Ohio State, who's definitely more talented than them? And they just passed every test. So, I mean, at some point, maybe we're all just going to doubt them from national championship. But yeah, I ended up taking Ohio State in the national championship to beat Indiana, just because, I mean, it's hard to beat a good team twice. And I thought that loss, similar to the Michigan loss at the end of last year, could really, like, flip the switch for Ohio State. And then just come out and dominate in the playoffs. Now, I didn't think they'd dominate quite as much as last year, but I thought it could have been the start of another national championship run. These spams, bro. Yeah, they do get annoying. Ohio State going all the way in one of your brackets. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. They're probably the most picked team. It makes a lot of sense. They were my pick as well. Although my bracket has not been good. The only 2 games I have right now is the 2 teams beating group of 5 teams. I took, obviously, Ole Miss and Oregon, but I got Oklahoma, Alabama wrong, and I also got A&M, Miami wrong. I knew Miami were scrappers, but I did not think they would be this good against Ohio State. Yeah, I mean, Miami's a tough team because what makes them good is they're so good up front on both sides that they can just take over a game along the line of scrimmage. But, like, there's also games for Miami, like the game against Louisville or SMU, where they just do not play that well. Carson Beck turns the ball over a few times. And if it happens against any weak team in the playoff, they can end up losing by multiple scores. Yeah, I definitely did not expect Miami to come out and look this good. I only feel like the offense scored 10 points in the whole game. Already up to 14 in the first half. Although, only 7 offensive points, but so 14 total. But I think Miami could be an example of a team peaking at the right time. Because after the loss to SMU, they played really well. They destroyed Syracuse 38-10, beat NC State 41-7, beat Virginia Tech 34-17, and then in the final game of the season, destroyed Pitt 38-7. And last week, even though they weren't amazing, they still beat a very good Texas A&M team. And now they've looked great so far. What's up, man? Finally tuning in. Pretty surprised, not gonna lie. Yeah, I've been pretty surprised as well. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, definitely did not see this kind of performance coming. Now, the one area I was a little worried about for Ohio State was the line of scrimmage, which has kind of been the problem for them so far, especially in offense. They've struggled to protect Julian Sayin. They weren't very good against Indiana. That's kind of what lost them the game. And obviously, I knew Miami had a great defensive front, but I just really didn't expect this kind of dominance. Like, Julian Sayin's been sacked 3 times. And against Indiana, I think he got sacked, 5. Yeah, he got sacked 5 times against Indiana. Ohio State tried to force a running game that wasn't there in Indiana. That is true. They just could not run the football. Like I pull up the stats right now. They have 58 rushing yards in that game, 2.2 yards a carry. I mean, Indiana kind of did a similar thing. They kind of tried to run the football, though. It kind of worked for them. They ended up with 3.5 yards a carry, and they had a couple nice runs, but for every run of like 10 yards they also had like 3 runs where they just ran into a wall at the line of scrimmage. But the second half should start within the next few minutes. We've been at halftime for about a little over 20 minutes, which I think is what a halftime usually is for a playoff game. But let me switch this so we're ready. Oh yeah, we got the start of the third quarter right here. But Ohio State, they get the football to start the half, and they need to get something going offensively. They have not scored points in their last 4 quarters. The last points they got was with 10:08 left in the second quarter of the Big Ten championship game. So that is 4 quarters, almost 5, considering it came early in the second quarter when they got points. But Ohio State, 10 points over their last 6 quarters. It's their largest deficit of the last 3 years, and they just showed their minus 7 or what do they have rushing? Minus 3 rushing yards and a half is their fewest rushing yards in a first half since 2002, I think that said. So it's been a while. But they get the ball to start the half here, and let's see what they can do. The kick is away, and it's going to be brought out from pretty deep in the end zone. James Peoples on the return is going to cross the 15. He's knocked down at the 17-yard line. Great kick coverage by Miami. Was pretty surprised by his decision to take that out of the end zone. Considering it was pretty deep. But Ohio State on the field at the 17-yard line. Let's see what the offense can do. Julian Sayin was sacked 6 times in the first 12 games of the season. He's been sacked 8 times over the last 2 games combined. Indiana and then today. They'll start on the ground with a handoff for Bo Jackson. Finds a lot of space, and Jackson a nice 7-yard run on the first play of the second half. Actually, they're going to give him 6 there on first down. Nope. Sorry, 7 yards. I thought it was going to be 6. But they ended up giving him 7. So Sayin in shotgun, Jackson wound up to his left. And again, they'll hand it off. Jackson up the middle. Going to bounce off one tackler and gain another about 5 or so yards. And another first down for Ohio State. A couple nice run plays to open the second half. So from their own 31-yard line, Sayin under center, Jackson is the back. And play action here, Sayin looks to throw, rolling right, and underneath he'll find Innes for the catch, and Brandon Innes out of bounds after a gain of 6. Had a few catches on that 2-minute drive before halftime, and now a few more or another catch on the first drive of the second half. Looked like that play was designed to take a shot downfield off the play action fake, but nothing there. So it's 2nd and 4 for Ohio State. Sayin in shotgun, Bo Jackson lined up to his right. From their own 37, Sayin hands off, Jackson up the middle, and Bo Jackson with space into the secondary, bouncing off a defender inside Miami territory, taking down the 46-yard line. A nice run for Bo Jackson at first down for Ohio State. This has been probably their best drive of the day. Some really nice run plays. A nice hole for Bo Jackson right there. And a great pickup on the ground. They gained 18 on that last play. And now from the Miami 45-yard line. Sayin off play action. Gets pressured. Sayin steps up and gets sacked again. Sayin dropped back at the 50-yard line. The 4th time he's been sacked today. And it brings up 2nd and 15. So it's 2nd and about 15 for Ohio State after the sack. Play clock winding down here at 2. They'll get the play off. Sayin to throw. Sayin throws over the middle of that pass. Caught by Jeremiah Smith at the 27-yard line. A first down for Ohio State. A nice completion right there. Over 20 yards. And Jeremiah Smith over 105 or over 100 receiving yards, as he got 4 catches for 105 yards. So Sayin under center from the 26-yard line. Donaldson is the back. And he can hand it off. CJ Donaldson up the middle, and he gains 4 on the first down carry. Down to the 22. It's definitely been the best drive of the day for the Ohio State offense. It's been 7 plays, 60 yards. They've taken 4:25 off the clock. So Sayin in shotgun, back on to his right. They shift the formation here, bring Carnell Tate into the backfield as well. And Sayin throws out to Carnell Tate on the swing pass, got the block on the outside, and Tate out of bounds here at the 10-yard line. Going to be a 1st and goal for Ohio State with 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. So it's 1st and goal for Ohio State. And a big opportunity right here to get their first points and get in the end zone. Sayin in the shotgun from the 8-yard line. He'll look to throw. Sayin has some time. Sayin throws to the right side, and that pass is going to be caught by, is that Claire? One of the tight ends. Couldn't tell who that was. But a gain of about 3, getting down to the 5-yard line. Brings up 2nd and goal for Ohio State. Down to 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. On the opening drive of the 2nd half. So Sayin in shotgun, Jackson lined up to his right. They're going to hand it off. Jackson up the middle, fighting towards the goal line, and he's going to get down, stretching the ball to about the 1-yard line. And brings up 3rd and goal here for Ohio State. This could be 4-down territory. Down 14. Inside the 5-yard line. I would not be shocked to see them go for this on 4th down. If they get there. So it's 3rd and goal. Sayin in shotgun. Back to his left. That's Jackson. Sayin. Hands it off. Jackson. Up the middle. Oh, he's very close. He reaches the ball across, but was he down? Touchdown, Ohio State. Bo Jackson gets in, reaching the ball across the goal line, and Ohio State with their first points. They finally get on the board. A 1-yard touchdown for Bo Jackson. Comes with 8:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. And what a drive to start the half for Ohio State. 11 plays, 82 yards. They take 6:55 off the clock. And they're into the end zone for a touchdown. Yeah, it looks like Jackson's in right here. He gets hit first and ends up what you would think on the ground, but he's actually on top of defenders. So he's not down. He reaches the ball across, and it's a touchdown for Ohio State. That is a huge drive right there. They really needed that. So here is fielding to add the extra point and cut it to a 7-point game. And the extra point for fielding right down the middle. So 14-7, what a drive for Ohio State. They really needed that. They get something going offensively. And they get their first points of the game. They ran the ball really effectively on that drive. The second half just got interesting. Yeah. Got a whole new ball game right now. 7-point game. Ohio State ran for 39 yards on that drive. But that was a really nice drive. They were able to run the ball effectively, which is pretty good considering how good this Miami defensive front is. And that could also open more up in the pass game for Ohio State down the field. So, I mean, if they're able to run the ball like this, that is going to be big. Now, Miami's run defense is really good, allowing just 87 rush yards per game. So, I don't know if it'll be as consistent success for Ohio State, but they're able to run the ball well on that drive, and that is definitely a good thing. Hold on one second. Alright, but we wait for them to come back from commercial. Miami will get the ball for their first possession in the second half. The offense for Miami, pretty good in the first half, although not amazing. I mean, they had 165 total yards. Carson Beck played pretty well. Only 4 incompletions on his part. And they had the ball for nearly 20 minutes. But despite that, they only had 1 scoring drive offensively. And after that drive, they really didn't do a ton. They had 2 possessions. They went 5 plays, 20 yards and punted, and 8 plays, 18 yards and punted. But we'll have to see how the offense for Miami looks to start the second half. But they're back from commercial here, 14-7. Miami leads. second. Alright. But the kick is away, and it goes through the end zone for a touchback. So we run out to the 25-yard line. And that's where Miami will take over for their first possession in the second half. 8:05 to go in the third quarter. So the offense for Miami onto the field. .805 to go in the third quarter. So Beck in the pistol. Fletcher is the back wanted behind him. Malachi Tony goes in motion, and Beck turns around and hands off to Fletcher, who runs for 4, maybe 5 yards on the first play from Miami of the second half. They give him 5 on first down to make it 2nd and 5 here. So Beck in shotgun back to his left. Beck gonna look to throw, and that pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Caden McDonald got a hand on it and knocked it down. And brings up 3rd and 5. This is like the 2003 Fiesta Bowl now. Oh, is that when Ohio State and Miami met the last time? I think they were talking about that before. I don't really know too much about that game. A little bit before my time. But a 3rd and 5 here. Beck looks to throw. Throws outside from Marion. That pass caught at the 43-yard line. A nice throw and catch and a first down for Miami. It was a close game the whole time with 2 overtimes. Wow, that's a pretty good game. Wouldn't mind seeing this game go to double overtime. The handoff to Fletcher up the middle. And he picks up 5, maybe 6 yards on first down. Looks like they'll give him 6 and spot it at the Miami 48-yard line. So it's 2nd and 4. Beck in the pistol. Turns around, hands off to Fletcher again. And Fletcher breaks the tackle into the secondary down to the 40-yard line. A nice run from Mark Fletcher and a first down for Miami. A nice run right there for Fletcher. Tackle was eventually made by Caleb Downs. Fletcher's run it 15 times for 67 yards, 4.5 yards a carry. Beck hands off this time. Pringle gets the carry. And this time not as much space, just about 2 yards on the carry right there. Five minutes to go in the third quarter. 2nd and 8 here for Miami. Miami already more points than Ohio State, allowing average per game, closing in on that number in total yards and passing yards as well. So Beck looks to throw, getting pressure, stepping up in the pocket, and Beck going to try to get back to the line of scrimmage. And it looks like he gets back there. So it's no gain on the play. And it brings up third down. Good job by Carson Beck there to feel the pressure, see Sonny Styles off the edge as a free rusher. So it's 3rd and 9. Miami is 4 of 9 on third down. This could be 4 down territory depending on how much you get. Beck gonna look to throw, pressure quickly, finds Malachi Tony underneath, ball popped out. The ball is out, Tony gets it back and runs for another couple yards. He's still short of the first down. So it'll be 4th and 1. It's the second time Tony's fumbled today. But both times he's been able to get it back. Yeah, this is definitely catch and fumble. But then Tony bounces right back to him. And it looks like Tony got hurt on that play. He took a huge hit. But Miami will settle for 3 right here. Carter Davis was not good in the first round. This is a 50-yard field goal from the left hash, and the kick for Davis on the way, and it is good. Carter Davis with a 50-yard field goal, and Miami up by 10. So they get points on their first drive of the second half, and go back up by 2 scores. That's a nice 50-yard field goal for Carter Davis. Much better than the first round. Although, I think a lot of the part in the first round was the wind. Because, this guy is a pretty good kicker. He's not terrible. That was actually officially marked a 49-yard field goal, although the broadcast said 50. But both teams with points on their first drive of the second half, a touchdown for Ohio State, a field goal for Miami. And it's a 10-point game with 3:01 to play in the third quarter. And it feels like this game's going really quickly. Only 3:01 to go in the third quarter? I don't know if it just feels that way or it is going quickly, but this game feels like it's flying by. But that drive for Miami, 9 plays, 43 yards. They took 5:04 off the clock. So Miami up by 10, and Ohio State gets it back. We'll have to see if they continue to run the ball well. Also, no penalties in this game. Wow, I didn't even realize that until you just pointed out. That's pretty interesting. That could also be a reason the game's going quickly, because you don't have to stop every 5 seconds to announce a penalty. I know that doesn't take very long, but if there's 20 penalties in the game, it's going to add up over time. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. A clean game from both teams. So Malachi Tony got hurt on that third down play for Miami. He's back over on the bench, so he looks to be okay. But there's no official update on him. But hopefully he's okay. The kick is touchback. Goes to the back of the end zone. And they're going to go to another commercial. Really? I guess that's what happens when you get 2 good drives in a row. When there's not time for commercials. So we see a kickoff and then another commercial. But Ohio State will get the ball at the 25. The kick was a touchback. And we'll see what they can do for their next possession. 3:01 to go in the third quarter. ESPN has to pay for the license. That is true. I mean, I understand why they do it. They got to make their money somehow. It's just annoying as a viewer. But a 17-7 lead, 3:01 to play in the third quarter. Ohio State gets it back here at the 25-yard line. And let's see what they can do. Get their first points on the last drive. Going right down the field. I'm interested to see if they can continue to run the football effectively. Obviously, they ran the ball really well on that last drive. So I'm interested to see if they can continue to run the ball well. Oh, what did I just do? Hold on 1 second. I messed something up. Alright, I fixed it. Alright, we're back from commercial. Ohio State at the ball at the 25-yard line. And let's see what they can do in their second drive of the half. So Sayan in shotgun, they get it back to his left, and will hand off on the first play. That's C.J. Donaldson to carry, and he swung down after getting a 4 on the play. And we have an injured Miami defensive lineman down on the field. Hopefully he's okay. Throw that in during a commercial break here and there. It's a good idea. Maybe I will. Thanks for the suggestion. I appreciate it. Oh, he gets rolled up on right here. One of the linemen for Miami. Hopefully he's okay. But they'll head to another commercial for the injury timeout. Hopefully the injured player is okay. I think it's number 99 for Miami. Let me look up who that is. Let's see, 99. That is Ahmad Moten Sr. 4.5 sacks in the season. Hopefully he's okay. But it's a 2nd and 6 for Ohio State. 2:50 to go in the third quarter. Alright, while they're at commercial, I'm going to go to tissue real quick. Be back in 10 seconds. But it'll be a 2nd and 6 for Ohio State when they get back from commercial. That was real quick. Yeah, it's only a few steps. Alright, the tissue box fairly close. I just toss them on the ground, pick them up when I finish streaming. Hold on 1 second. Alright. They'll be back from commercial in a second. It's a 2nd and 6 for Ohio State. A decent play on first down with a 4-yard run for C.J. Donaldson. Winner of this game moves on to the Fiesta Bowl against either Georgia or Ole Miss. They play in the Sugar Bowl tomorrow night. So Sane in shotgun, Donaldson to his right here. Sane over the middle, that is going to be caught by the tight end for getting about 9, maybe 10 yards. Another first down for Ohio State. So 1st and 10, 2:15 to go in the third quarter. So Sane in the pistol. The motion Carnell Tate out wide to the right side. And here's a handoff. Donaldson up the middle. This time not much space. He gets maybe a yard. And brings up 2nd and about 9. So 2nd and 8. Sane throws outside. That pass is caught by Brandon Innes for a first down. Makes a nice move. Gets around the defender. And he picks up about another 11 yards. And he gets to the Miami 47-yard line and moves the sticks for Ohio State. Made some nice plays for the Ohio State offense over the past few drives. So Sane in shotgun. Minute to go here in the third quarter. First down from the 48. They bring Jackson in motion. And we'll hand it to him up the middle. Jackson getting to the left side. And he'll pick up 4 on the play. Getting to the 44-yard line. And setting up with a 2nd and 6. So 2nd down here, Sane takes a shot down the sideline. Back shoulder is caught by Jeremiah Smith. No, wait a minute. They just say incomplete? No, that's a catch. Why do I think that ref signaled incomplete? But a nice throw and catch there. A back shoulder throw to Jeremiah Smith and a nice catch to keep the feet in bounds. That's a great catch. And we got a injured Miami player over on the sideline. Looks like a defensive back down. Over along the sideline. Hopefully he's okay. Jeremiah Smith, 5 catches for 127 yards. He is the game's leading receiver. So first down here for Ohio State. They don't have to run a play before the quarter ends. 5 seconds. And they will run a play. And it's an end around here for Jeremiah Smith, trying to turn the corner. And Jeremiah Smith is not going to get much. He'll get a yard. And that brings us into the fourth quarter. So 17-7. At the end of 3 quarters, we enter the fourth quarter. Miami up by 10. But it's another pretty good drive for Ohio State. But it's been a 7-play, 54-yard drive so far. That's taken 3:01 off the clock. As we enter the fourth quarter. Ohio State obviously again needs points in this drive, down by 10. Even a field goal cutting to a 1-score game would work, although obviously you want a touchdown. You always want a touchdown. But 17-7 at the end of the third quarter. Ohio State up to 290 total yards, Miami at 208. The Ohio State defense is really playing well. They've allowed us 200 yards. And Miami averaging oh, sorry, I didn't do that correctly. Averaging about 4 yards per play. Ohio State averaging 6.1 yards per play. Really 6.2 if you round up. Technically it's 6.17. That's 6.2 yards a play. But Ohio State's defense playing well. Now they need them to the offense to keep this up, keep going. And, I mean, they're still very much in this game. Only down 10 entering the fourth quarter. It's very doable for Ohio State. Wonder when their last comeback win is. Probably a while, considering they're not usually trailing. Let's see if I can look it up real quick. Alright, so according to this, it says Ohio State's most recent notable comeback win was in the 2022 Rose Bowl against Utah, where they ended up winning 48-45. That was a wild game. I remember Jackson Smith-Jigba put up huge numbers. Let's see, Ohio State, they trailed 28-14 in that game, 35-21 at halftime. Alright, they're back from commercial, and the fourth quarter starts here with a run up the middle for Bo Jackson. It's a pretty good run, getting about 7 yards. Thank you, don't recall that game. I remember watching some of it, and I remember that game being pretty good. Like, I would never have been able to say that was Ohio State's most recent comeback win because I don't watch them every week. But I do remember watching some of that game. So a 3rd and 3 for Ohio State. Sayin in shotgun back to his right. And a handoff. Donaldson up the middle did not get it. Donaldson got 1.5 yards, if that. And it brings up 4th down. So decision time for Ryan Day. So it'll be 4th and about 2 for Ohio State. And the offense looks like they're staying out there. Ohio State, they went 11 of 16 on 4th down during the regular season. That led the Big Ten. So Sayin in shotgun, Jackson motions out of the backfield. Sayin fakes it to Jackson, throws, caught by Jeremiah Smith, 1st down, flag is down, Smith is in to score if it stands. Touchdown Jeremiah Smith, there's a flag on the play. It's going to be the first penalty of the game, and it's a defensive penalty. It's declined. It's a touchdown for Ohio State. Ohio State right back in it, down by about to be 3 after the extra point. It's a 14-yard touchdown for Jeremiah Smith on 4th down. And that is now back-to-back scoring drives for Ohio State. They go 10 plays, 75 yards, 4:33 off the clock. And it's about to be a field goal game after the extra point. And the extra point for Jaden Fielding is good. So 17-14 Ohio State, down 14 at the half. They've cut it to a 3-point game early in the 4th quarter. But a really nice play right there on 4th down, a 14-yard touchdown. And Ohio State, after 0 in the first half, 14 on their first 2 drives of the second half. Fiesta Bowl rematch in the making. Yeah, seems that way. Just pulled up that game right now. Final score of that game, 31-24. Ohio State won. Momentum has to be Ohio State. Yeah, for sure. Definitely going in Ohio State's direction right now. For nothing went their way in the first half. Seems to have switched here in the second half. But Ohio State outscoring Miami 14-3 here in the second half. And Ohio State with 2 really nice touchdown drives. And on their 2 drives in the second half, they've gone 157 yards. So 157 in the second half. And in the first half, they had let's see, I'm adding it all up. They had 155, so almost as many yards already in the second half as they had in the entire first half. That's pretty good. And I mean, think, if Jaden Fielding had made that field goal before halftime, we'd be tied right now. Now, obviously, it was a pretty long field goal, so not an easy one, but we could be tied at 17, but as it is, only a 3-point game. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Miami gets it back. And let's see how they respond. Closest the game has been since it was 7-0 early in the second quarter. We got 13:28 to go in the fourth quarter. Miami gets it back. Only up by 3. So Ohio State kicks off. And Miami won't have a chance to return it. It bounced through the end zone for a touchback. So Carson Beck and the offense for Miami back onto the field at their own 25. So Beck in the pistol to start this drive for Miami. Mark Fletcher is the back one behind him. They bring Malachi Tony back on the field in motion. Beck going to take a shot deep down the field on the first play, and that pass is incomplete. A diving attempt at it by C.J. Daniels. Very tight coverage downfield, and it brings up 2nd and 10. Really the first time we've seen them try to take a deep shot down the field. But it ends up incomplete. Sorry, I don't know if you sent this a while ago or that was a few minutes ago. Or just now, sorry. I said the same thing. I can't find the box scores for the Fiesta Bowl. The only thing I saw was just kind of like who scored when, but I couldn't find actual player stats. Here's a handoff up the middle, and he goes nowhere. Caden McDonald in the backfield, and Fletcher loses a yard. On 2nd and 10 makes it 3rd and 11. Yeah, the only thing I saw right there was, I just looked up Miami Ohio State Fiesta Bowl. And it was just an ESPN link from that game. But it's 3rd and 11 here for Miami. They're 4 for 10 on 3rd down, 1 for 2 here in the second half. Not an easy one, 3rd and long. Beck in shotgun, Fletcher to his left. Ohio State brings 5. Beck steps up, going to try to run for a first down, and Carson Beck is going to be very close. He might have landed on the defender and gotten there. Let's see, the spot's going to come in right at the marker, and they're going to give it to him. Let's see, he gets hit short. Yeah, he lands on the defender. He's got a first down. What a run for Carson Beck. Sounds like a mirror image to that game. Yeah, it really does seem similar. So after the scramble for Beck, they convert on 3rd down. They bring Tony across the formation here. And Beck hands off Fletcher. Hit in the backfield, breaks that tackle. And then he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Actually, they're going to give him a yard right there. So he fell forward. But not much running room. After they run the ball pretty effectively early in the game. That space is closed here in the second half. So 2nd down and 9 here for Miami. Beck gonna look to throw. Throw to the outside. It is caught by Marion for a gain of about 3 on the play. And brings up 3rd down for Miami. So 3rd down, 10:40 to go in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 6 from their own 39. Beck in shotgun, Pringle to his left. Actually, I don't think that's Pringle to his left. Well, Beck gonna look to throw here. Beck steps up. Beck throws downfield, too high, incomplete. That was a tough throw for Carson Beck to make on the run. But it was a little too high, it's incomplete, and it brings up 4th down. But that is a huge stop for the Ohio State defense. They're going to get the ball back to the offense, only down by 3, with still 10 minutes to go in the game. Trying to get it to tight end Lofton, but threw it a little too high. It's 4th down, and Miami get a punt. So the punt is away, and it bounces out of bounds near the 25. Spot actually exactly at the 25. But Ohio State getting the ball back, only down by 3, with a little over 10 minutes to go. And they scored on back-to-back drives. So points here, even a field goal will just tie it. Touchdown puts them in the lead. But that wasn't a great punch, just 36 yards. And Ohio State takes over the 25-yard line, 10:16 to go in the 4th quarter. Miami went 14 yards and 6 plays on that drive before they punted. Ohio State outgaining Miami by 100 yards here in the second half. 157 for Ohio State, 57 for Miami. But they get it back here. And let's see what they can do for their next possession. So we wait for them to come back from commercial here. A 3-point game. Promote your channel. Yeah, I really could do a better job at that. Alright, I will. Be sure to like the stream, guys. Yeah, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already. That'd be much appreciated. But we're back from commercial. Ohio State with the football at the 25-yard line, down by 3. So 1st and 10 here from the 25-yard line, 10:17 to go. Sayin gonna look to throw. Throwing to the outside, that pass is gonna be caught. And nice move to get around one guy, and he's out of bounds after getting about 12 and a 1st down. Catch made by 89 right there, one of the tight ends for Ohio State. Julian Sayin in the second half is 9 of 9 for 116 yards and a touchdown. So Sayin in the pistol, Donaldson behind him from the 37-yard line. And we'll hand it off. Donaldson up the middle, makes the guy miss, and picks up 4 on 1st down. Getting to the 41 with 9:25 to go. Ohio State 173 second half yards, 154 in the first half. Been much better offensively. So Sayin in shotgun back to his left. From the 41-yard line, Sayin gonna look to throw. Pump fake. Sayin gets sacked. They've done a much better job protecting him here in the second half, but he goes down for a sack right there. And it brings up third down here for Ohio State. Ruben Bain, one of the guys in the backfield right there. First time we've really done anything in the second half. And he gets pressure there and is hoping to force a sack. So 3rd and 15. Sayin gonna look to throw. Sayin steps up, zips one over the middle, caught by Jeremiah Smith for a first down. Needed 15, got 16, and a huge conversion on 3rd and long. And what a big time throw and catch right there. And they move the sticks on 3rd and 15. A nice play there. And a 1st and 10 for Ohio State. Sayin, and look to throw again. Steps up, takes a shot. Down the field, incomplete. Carnell Tate, the closest receiver to it, but overthrown by about 10 yards. So far, that pick six is a key play. It really is. 7 points to Miami, and who knows, could have taken 7 away from Ohio State, depending on what they were going to do on that drive. So it's 2nd and 10, 7:26 to go in the 4th quarter. Sayin looks to throw, steps up, Sayin pressured, escapes for now, throws the flat, where it's caught by Jackson, and Jackson going to pick up about 6 yards, but there's a flag on the play. And we get a hold here against Ohio State. It's the first accepted penalty of the game. Goes against tackle Daniels, who's working as Ruben Bain, who actually had a hold of Julian Sayin's foot for part of that play, but Sayin able to break free and get a throw off. But the holding call backs him up 10. It's the first accepted penalty of the game. That's pretty impressive, coming with 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Don't see that too often. So 2nd down and 20. Donaldson motions out of the backfield. And Sayin gonna look to throw, or the middle of that pass is incomplete off the hands of Carnell Tate and incomplete. And it is now 3rd and 20. Now we did just see them convert a 3rd and long. This one's even longer, now 3rd and 20. 6:47 to go in the 4th quarter. Man, Carnell Tate took a huge hit right there. I mean, he didn't catch the ball anyway, but that was still a big hit to take. Especially for not catching the ball. So 3rd down and 20. Sayin on 3rd down, he's 3 of 6, 36 yards, he's thrown for 2 first downs. Gonna look to throw here, Miami brings 3. They still get pressure. Sayin steps up, Sayin checks down to Donaldson, who's gonna lose a yard. CJ Donaldson loses a yard, it brings up 4th and 21, and Ohio State forced to punt it away. 6.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and Miami will get it back, still up by 3. And that was an impressive play there for Miami. They rushed 3, still got pressure, and forced Julian Sayin to check it down. And ultimately, Ohio State loses a yard, and forced to punt. So the punt is away. Tony, from the 10, calls fair catch. Did not realize he called fair catch. We got a flag down on the play. Looks like we got an illegal formation going against Ohio State. Yeah, it's an illegal formation against Ohio State. They had too many guys in the backfield. And Miami wants to make Ohio State re-kick and try to get better field position. This team going down to the wire. Yeah, it really is. 3-point game, 6 minutes to go. Should be an exciting finish. Best defense for Miami in the second half. Yeah, first time they've gotten a stop. So yeah, definitely their best defensive possession. Also, first time they're able to pressure Sayin in the second half. So it's going to be about a 20-yard difference here. Tony calls fair catch at the 30 as opposed to the 10. So it ends up being a great decision to make them re-kick. And Miami gets the ball at the 30-yard line with 5:56 to go in the fourth quarter. They're still up by 3. But this is a big drive right here. Because, I mean, if you're Ohio State, you need to get a stop, or at the very least hold them to 3, keep it a one-score game. But if you're Miami, even a field goal is big, because that makes Ohio State need a touchdown on their next drive. So this is a big drive right here. It's good you interact with your viewers. Thumbs up. Thank you. Yeah, I always try to interact. I don't really see the point in streaming if you're not going to interact with viewers. It just doesn't make much sense. Plus, it just makes it more fun. For both me and you guys. Hold on 1 second. Alright, but we wait for them to come back from commercial. We got 6 minutes to go. Miami with the ball at their own 30, up by 3, 17-14. Teams who got a first round bye did not win a game last year. They went 0 for 4. And if results hold, it will be 0 for 5. Although I would be really surprised if we see the teams who got first round byes go 0 for 4 again this year. Especially after the change to the format where it's not the 4 highest conference champions get the bye. It's the 4 best teams get the bye. Which definitely makes a lot more sense because I mean, otherwise you'd have Tulane, who's barely ranked in the top 25, get a bye. Don't jinx it. Not trying to jinx it, but just something to keep an eye on. So Beck and the offense on the field at the 30. Carson Beck hands off to Mark Fletcher. He's got a lot of space. Fletcher into the secondary, breaks the tackle at the 47-yard line. He's finally taken down, and a nice run from Mark Fletcher. And a big run play. Best of the second half for Miami. Fletcher had a huge drive late in the game against Texas A&M as well. He had that big not the big touchdown, but the big run to put them in position for the game-winning touchdown. This one obviously not quite as big or quite as late in the game, but a nice run. Oh, he actually almost fumbled right here. The ball got knocked free, but he was able to catch it before it ever hit the ground. So Beck in shotgun, back to his right here. 5:15 to go. And another handoff. Fletcher up the middle for gain of about 4. We reach 5 minutes to go. So it's a second and about 7 here for Miami. Officially going to be spotted second and 6. 4:40 to go. Beck in shotgun, back to his right. Sorry, left. Beck going to look to throw. Beck pocket collapsing, rolling to his left, on the run. Beck is going to get taken down inbounds after a gain of 2 on the play. And this is a big third down right here. It'll be 3rd and 3 for Miami. Could be 4 down territory. 4 minutes to go. A little over. Beck on 3rd down. He's 5 for 8. 3 first downs. Thrown for 50 yards and a touchdown. This is a huge 3rd down right here. One of the biggest plays of the game. They're at the Ohio State 44-yard line. It's 3rd down and 3. Beck going to look to throw. Throw to the outside. It's called for a first down. A gain of about 5 on the play. They move the sticks. And it's a first down for Miami. That is a huge, huge conversion. Number 6, Brown makes the catch. Not sure who that is. But makes the catch. A first down. Now, if you're Ohio State, what point do you start thinking about timeouts right here to try to get the ball back? Because obviously Miami's going to take all the time they can. 3:13 to go right now. They got the ball on the Ohio State 39. Beck turns around and hands off to Brown to the right side. And Brown with a great run has a first down, gaining 13 on the play. Wow, what a run. The clock continues to run inside 3 minutes to go now. Ohio State still has all 3 timeouts. Both teams do. Ohio State's led 141 rushing yards today. I believe that's the second most they've allowed all year. Beck in shotgun, back to his right. Tony comes in motion, and they hand it off here. Brown up the middle, and this time he's not going to find as much space. Finds just a yard. After the 2-minute warning call timeouts. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, sometimes we see teams do it earlier, so that's why I was asking, but that definitely makes a lot of sense. But we do reach the 2-minute warning right here. 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Miami up by 3, 17-14. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. But if you're Ohio State, you're really going to make sure you can get a stop on this set of downs. Because if you do, you can still have a timeout to work with as well. Plus, you'd hold them to a field goal. Because let's do some math real quick. They got all 3, 2 minutes left. It's 2nd and 9. Right, so let's say they run it again. And let's say they get another 2 yards. And that takes 5 seconds. So that brings it down to minute 55. They can call a timeout. 3rd down, they'll run it again to keep the clock running and force them to choose another timeout. That'll take them down to a minute 50. And Ohio State will call a timeout again. Then said the field goal takes 5 seconds. So Ohio State can realistically get the ball back with about a minute 45 left on the clock. Down by 6 and still have a timeout to work with. That is very doable. Now, obviously, you got to make sure you can get the stop on this set of downs, but it's very doable for Ohio State. Canes are going to do it. Definitely seems like they might. Did not expect it, but they could. Still good time. Yeah, there's plenty of time left for Ohio State if they can get the stop right here. But while we're at commercial, if you guys can hit that like button and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. I'll be streaming every college football playoff game just like this. I'll be streaming all day tomorrow. So we've got a lot of content on the way. Nine-point underdog for Miami. This is a crazy upset if it stands. Yeah, this is a big upset. I mean, I don't really know many people who pick Miami at all. I'm trying to think of one. I don't think I saw anybody. I'm sure there's definitely people out there, but this is definitely a pretty big upset. And I mean, if Miami does this, they can really go all the way. Like, if Ohio State is the best team, like, they can definitely Miami can play with anybody. I think they've shown that today. Now, I do think a lot depends on the play of Carson Beck, but the way he's played the first couple games, they haven't asked him to do a whole ton. He protected the football. This Miami team looks very dangerous. So it's 2nd and 9 here. Beck, low snap, hands off here to Brown, who gets stopped. Gonna get pushed forward, though. Got about 4 yards after contact. It's gonna be 3rd down and 4. That play took 7 seconds. There's a minute 53 left on the clock. And Ohio State calls their first timeout. You want to go to the Rose Bowl? Wow, that'd be so fun. Going to the Rose Bowl tomorrow? That'd be amazing. If Miami wins, they'll make it the big game. Definitely seems like they could. And whoever they match up against, I wouldn't hate the matchup. Because even though Georgia's defense is great, Ohio State's defense is great. If they can find success here, I think they can find success there. And with the way Georgia likes to run the football, I don't think that's a great matchup for them against this Miami defensive front. Although, even though we have seen Ohio State run the ball a little bit more effectively. Stressed if. Yeah, obviously if, but obviously if they win. Big if. There's still a minute 53. Only a 3-point game. Anything can happen, but that's my first thoughts if they do end up holding on. Beck going to throw here on 3rd down at the screen for Daniels, and CJ Daniels going to get dragged down inside the 10 after a first down. A huge catch and run, first down Miami. A little surprised to see them throw the ball, but they go with something safe to screen pass, and it sets them up with a 1st and goal. And Ohio State calls their second timeout. So they're now down to 1 timeout left. Man, Caden Curry's in a great spot to make a tackle right here. But a nice move by Daniels to get around him. And pick up the first down. Yeah, but I feel like Indiana will destroy Bama. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't really think that game's going to be too close. I think I said 31-14. So it's 1st and goal. I was going to say they could throw a screen. Wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to get the ball into the hands of Malachi Toney. Before that play, ends up being CJ Daniels. But it's now a 1st and goal for Miami. 1:46 to go in the 4th quarter. 1 timeout for Ohio State. Ball on the 7-yard line. Beck in the pistol. Back is behind him. Beck hands off. Brown up the middle. Going to get down to about the 5-yard line. And Ohio State going to hold on to that last timeout for now. The clock can run to about 58 seconds before they snap this next play. Carson Beck could face Georgia in the next round. Yeah, that'd be an interesting game. Carson Beck revenge game. That could be interesting. We got Georgia winning it all in your bracket. Yeah, my bracket looks pretty terrible considering I had Ohio State winning. And I only went 2-2 in the first round. Yeah, Georgia does not look like a bad pick. So second and goal for Miami. Beck, hands off. Brown into the end zone. Looks like Ohio State might have let him score. Which might have been their best opportunity because I don't know if they could have gotten the ball back. But Miami scores. Brown with a 6-yard touchdown. They go 10 plays, 70 yards, take 5:01 off the clock. And they're about to go up by 10. "55 seconds left. So there's still time, but now if you're Ohio State, you need an onside kick, which is pretty much a miracle. And the extra point up and good. 24-14. Miami up 10 with under a minute to play. And what a game. Miami's played extremely well. You're a Georgia fan. Nice. I'm a Notre Dame fan. So, yeah. As a Buckeye fan, Georgia cannot do what Miami has done against Ohio State. Yeah, Miami, they've played really well. But, I mean, yeah, I don't think Miami would find this type of success on the ground against Georgia, especially with the way that defense is playing lately. Although, I didn't expect them to put up this much yards on the ground in this game either. So 55 seconds left in the fourth quarter. One timeout for Ohio State. They're going to need a miracle to win this game. I concede to Miami fans good luck against Indiana. Yeah, and this has been a great game for Miami. I would not be shocked to see them in the national championship game. The kick here is a touchback, and it will come out at the 25. Now, with Indiana, I mean, I do think they'll make the national championship game, although I don't think it's that easy for them because I think whoever wins, assuming Indiana wins tomorrow, which I think they will, assuming they win tomorrow, I don't think Oregon or Texas Tech is an easy matchup. I think both those teams are very good and will give them a tough game. Miami deserved to win. They played really well today. They've played extremely well. So 1st and 10 here from the 25. Sayin steps up. Sayin throws outside. It is dropped by Tate. Through his hands. And incomplete. That would have been a big play. Get 25 yards on the first play. As that would have gotten him to the 45. It goes through his hands. And it's incomplete. And this is also a tough spot for the Ohio State offensive line and Julian Sayin because this Miami pass rush knows you're throwing the football. So 2nd and 10 from the 25. Empty backfield for Julian Sayin. Sayin steps up, hit as he throws. It is intercepted. It gets picked off. That's going to seal it. And Miami will upset Ohio State 24-14 and win the Cotton Bowl. Wow, Sayin got hit as he threw. The ball just kind of floated in the air. It gets picked off and Miami going to hold on to win. Wow, this is a huge upset. I mean, it starts with the pressure here for from Ruben Bain forcing Sane to step up and then step up into another defender. But a huge turnover right there. Victory formation for Miami. And Miami on their way to the semifinal as they're going to beat Ohio State 24-14. And we'll see a new national champion this season. Well, a huge upset for Miami. They upset Ohio State 24-14. And they'll play either Georgia or Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl in, I don't know, like 2 weeks or whatever. January 8th, here we go. What is that? 9 days? But final score 24-14, a huge win for Miami. Congrats, Miami. Yeah, they played a great game. And Ohio State, they come up short. After a 12-0 start, they lose back-to-back games. And they will not repeat as national champions. Great coverage. Thank you. Happy New Year, Super Sports Central. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to all you guys watching as well. But what a win for Miami. They run the ball well. Their defense plays really well. Miami ran for 153 and a touchdown. And the defense, obviously the pressure on Julian Sane was huge. They picked him off twice. And the pick six was really what changed this game. But a huge win for Miami. They're able to upset Ohio State. And they're moving on. Now, the interesting thing is we've seen all five teams who got a bye in the first round. All 5 teams who got a bye have now lost in the first round. Now, I would be very surprised if it ends up being all 8 after tomorrow. But there's definitely a chance. Now, I think because we see these lower seeded teams win and beat teams who got byes, that makes me think we're going to see some kind of change to the playoff format. I wouldn't be shocked if them go to 16 and play every game on campus in the first round, and then go to bowl games for the second round. And every first round game would get played the week the first round was played. See you tomorrow. Miami, you played like this next round, you'll win by a large score. Yeah, definitely seems like that might be the case. Miami, they played a great game. But, okay, going to 16, that's what I was talking about. I can definitely see them doing that. You go to 16 teams, you put all the first round games on when the first round was. The only thing is you do have to, it does kind of make it an interesting situation with when you play those games, because you already played the 3 games Saturday. You wouldn't want them to overlap. You got a game Friday night. That's 4 games. There'd be double the amount of games. There'd be 8 games in the first round if you go to 16 and have everyone play in the first round. That's the only problem I can think of with going to 16, and then once you move on to the quarterfinals, you just go like this with the bowl games on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and you got the semifinals and obviously the championship. Now, do you think Notre Dame deserves to be in the playoff? Yes, I still think we should have been in the playoff. We should have been ahead over Alabama. Because, I mean, we lost this Miami team week 1 by 3 points. And to say that's one of the losses that kept us out of the playoff. When Miami looks to, they're apparently one of the 4 best teams in the country heading to the semifinals. Yeah, I still think we should have been in the playoff. Alright, yeah, that's where I'm going to end tonight's stream, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. This has actually been my most successful stream I've ever done on this channel, so thank you guys for all the support. I'll be streaming every college football playoff game. I'll be streaming all day tomorrow for all 3 games. I'll be live Saturday night for the NFL game then. I'll be live Sunday night for Sunday football. Got a lot of content on the way. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night. Happy New Year to all you guys watching. And, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great New Year, great rest of your day or night. And I'll see you guys in the next video.